Ain't bad. Hello and welcome back. I just finished up that stopping test, which really didn't tell me much of anything. However, I did want to come out here to shoot a second video as well. And it's a pretty simple idea, and it's one of those things where, have you ever had someone tell you there are no dumb questions? Because if you have the question, probably someone else does too. There are definitely dumb questions. I have a feeling about myself, and it's I'm scared, and that's okay. And what I mean by I'm scared is I'm scared off-road, or I'm scared when I'm alone in the woods. It's really easy to do something like I was just doing with slamming on brakes and to maybe override your skill. Well, either way, sometimes you're scared, and being scared can be a barrier to going out and having a fun time. Because of this, you try to think of ways like, how do I minimize my risk? And I spent some time looking into, like, what are some things I can do to protect myself or mitigate my risk? And you'll often find these ones like Garmin spots, or some type of satellite communicator. Now, if you have an iPhone, I guess they do have the ability to make satellite calls on their own already. And while maybe not 100% reliable, just like no technology is, it is an interesting technology to have access to. However, I think there's a much cheaper method that we haven't really been talking as like a motorcycle community, the simple handheld radio. Now, this is like a Motorola Talkabout. I've had it for a few years. These are great. We use them for off-road coordination and other things like that. And they are an FRS style handheld, but it has another feature too, is this also is GMRS capable, so that's GMRS, which does have a license, but it's only there's no test, it's just a license. And what this allows you to do is to basically increase your network. Now, I'm in a little bit of a valley right here. I don't have cell phone signal right now. I am on a road, right? We've had a cyclist come by and move over for this guy. Yeah, I'm good, thank you. But either way, so like I don't have signal right now. Right now, if I were falling over on the road, each person who's come by is asking if I'm fine. And that's great. So ride in places where people are guaranteed to come on by occasionally. I'm not in the middle of nowhere, but I am a decent distance outside of a place. Now, I do live in the Pacific Northwest, where just hanging out in the woods is kind of a bit of a hobby that a lot of people have. But most places you'll find there's always someone. However, what if you need communication faster because you are injured and you need to get a hold of someone, or no one's come by, right? So I actually don't know if this is going to work. But what I'm doing right now...
tonight, but it might be midnight before it all comes together.
So channel 18, right away, I know that's a repeater.
I'm just thinking about you, Mr. Magoo. You have a good time, and don't eat.
I'm going to dip out of their conversation, right? But here we are. I'm in a valley. There is, like, I'm technically like in a valley above a valley, so I do have a bit of stuff going on, but you can look at your own map and determine your own risk setting and be like, oh crap, I'm in an area where I can communicate if necessary. If that was a repeater, I won't be able to directly communicate most likely with this specific device. I might need a slightly different one. So this isn't talking about Motorola the walkabouts, but what it is saying is if there are people up on that channel and I talk, I might not hit the repeater, but I might hit someone else along the network. Now, this does leave another question, and it's, well, how do I tell someone where I am? You know what? That's a great question, and now you're starting to stack what ifs. What ifs in this situation is I know I'm past High Steel Bridge. I say, hey, I'm like 2 miles past High Steel Bridge. I need some help. My leg's broken. And you put that... Alright, well, made it out to High Steel Bridge. It's actually kind of busy today. Might be because it's so nice out. Well, technically possible. I just don't want to scramble back up it. Let's see. Costs are impressive. Put out on the net, someone's going to respond. Now, mind you, I didn't expect it to be that quick on one cycle, but I have also been out well into the woods, out near Greenwater, in between like 410 and 90, and you can still pick up communication. And that's communication with like Seattle. Whereas there'll be even people who are utilizing this as their like off-road comm system, and you can pick them up. And as soon as you, like, basically once you ask for service, anyone who's up on a radio is waiting for that moment to come and rescue you, right? They want to be the people who dispatch. It would be literally the story they tell for the next 20 years. You're probably going to be invited to like Thanksgiving dinner with them. So what am I saying here, right? Like, I think it's worth talking about. I think you can start mitigating some of those risks without having to spend $1,000, right? You, with 40 bucks, you can go out in the woods, have some fun. Likely nothing's going to happen to you. But if something does, something as cheap as a radio can definitely increase your chances of being helped, as well as being on main lines of communication, and many other things. Either way, that's all I'm trying to say here is I feel like we often want to push towards really fancy, high-end safety equipment, and we forget that, like, hey, I can toss this one thing in my backpack or in my jacket, and there's almost no chance that I won't be able to communicate. And I don't think motorcyclists should be the only people who carry one of these. If you're out hiking, sure, it's not the lightest thing. I can throw some weight up when I get home. But it's worth it, right? You fall down something, you have this, and just every few minutes or so, just go on through there. There's a call button that you can hit. This one specifically has a high power mode, so you can boost your channel out a little bit further. But if you get up on one of these radios and you're injured somewhere in the woods where they can't get a good visual on you, this is just screaming with electricity. And that's much more powerful. All right, hey, thanks for coming to my TED Talk here. I'm actually gonna finish packing up and get on out of here. I can't express how impressed I am that worked as quickly as it did. I was expecting to have to whip out an SDR and prove to you guys that, oh, there are signals out there and all this other stuff. Maybe that's another video now, so that's kind of fun. Do like a communication thing. But anyways, hope you enjoyed just some food for thought, right? Like, cell phones are cool, but you can't always rely on them. Radios are cool, but you can't always rely on them. But if you have multiple mechanisms for communication, you have a higher chance of something working. Which is to say, like, hey, maybe you do have that Garmin too. God, I'm really liking this bag. Extended out, super cute. It's never really from a style standpoint, I think tail bags look a bit silly. However, can't argue functionality. There's someone out there who's probably like, why don't you have a Garmin? I was saved by a Garmin 8 times while bears were breathing down my neck. Motorcycling is my hobby, so just be careful while you judge people. The sport doesn't have to be as expensive as we make it, but I just think that if you only try to ride motorcycles safely, you're not going to ride them very often. Quick fist break. Time's 2 o'clock. 2 hours home. I came, I saw the bridge. Whew. Let's fucking go.